back to the fifth session of our training. So, before starting the training, let me share the screen and let's have a quick recall on whatever we have discussed in the last session. So, in last session, if you remember, in the fourth session, we have gone through some basic commands like CP, then SCP, then even SSH, and then we have started to discuss about user management. So user management is very important topic, okay, for every system administrator, okay, to manage any operating system, any environment, okay. Yesterday also we had seen some basic commands like user add to add the user. Then we had seen the su space hyphen space username, okay, to switch user or to log in the user from CLI command line interface. Then the password command was there to set the password for any user. For that purpose, you have to log in with the root. So this was all about yesterday's session. Okay, in user management, let's move ahead and let's understand, okay, how we can get the user management on a different level, okay, how we can create the user differently, okay. So for that purpose, if you know, in Linux there are some options with every command, okay. For example, the command yesterday we had seen, it was user add command, okay. So while adding the user, you can use those several options with the command by using hyphen, like hyphen s or like hyphen u, like hyphen d or hyphen m, okay. Several options are there and every option has a different meaning. So to see the user management with the command user add and its options, okay. So first option with user add, okay, that we are going to create the user with a by default option hyphen n, okay. Then you can assign the username like this. So what hyphen m is, okay, if you check the Linux, okay, and the terminal even, so let me show you the options, how we can check the options with every command. In the previous few sessions, I had explained about the man page. If you remember, we can check the manual page of any command, okay, by like adding man space user add, and you can see the different options for this command. Options like hyphen b, hyphen c, hyphen d, okay. So you can check the options with the man page. Now this time we are going to add the user add space hyphen m space whatever user we need to create. For example, I'm going to create user one. Okay. So what is the use of hyphen m? Okay. Let's check in manual page. Okay. So that we can come to know hyphen m option is to create the users by default directory. Okay. So here is the hyphen one option. Okay. So few Linux distributions will not create the home directory of the user by just giving simple user add space John. Then hyphen m option, if you're using, it will create its home directory by default as it is in a slash home slash whatever the username is. So we can check the user has been created or not by giving slash etc slash wd. So user one is there with the home directory slash home slash user one. So this is just a user account entry, okay, and we can check in slash home as well, okay. User one is here. So hyphen m option which we had used, okay, the use of hyphen m is to create the user with its home directory, okay, by default home directory. So this option we can mention to create the home directory, user with the home directory. Now second option, okay, to create the user with a different option, we are going to add the user add space hyphen c, okay. Hyphen c, basically this option is being used to add the command for that user. If you remember yesterday, we have discussed about the file inside of slash etc. The file is passed wd, and there was 7 field in this file. The first field was like user one, then every field was separated by the colon, okay. Then second field was about encrypted password. Third field about the UID. Fourth field was about GID, group ID. And fifth field, okay, especially it is reserved for a comment. Okay, so this fifth field, usually you can see it is a blank. Right now we have created the user one. Okay, and if you see the user one's fifth field, so the fifth field of user one is empty. Between the both colon, the field is empty. So comment, usually it is being empty. So by using hyphen C, we can add the comment. Okay, fifth field was command. Sixth field was about home directory of the user slash home slash user one. And the seventh last field is about its shell, whether it is a bean bash or bean sh. So this hyphen c option will help us to add the command. Okay, hyphen c comment, just give the comment manager. Suppose I'm going to here manager and the username, whatever user you want to create. So let's fire this command and let's see how this will create with the command hyphen c option. Okay, so this time I'm going to add the comment manager. Okay, for the user 2. Okay, and now if we check tail space slash atc slash passwd, and just want to see only one single last line of passwd file. So here you can see user 2 has been created, and the fifth field, it has a mention comment which we have given the manager. So by using hyphen c, you can add the comment with this command user add space hyphen c. Moving ahead, next option of user add command, okay, it is hyphen d. Okay, user add space hyphen d space directory you need to mention. Okay, suppose I'm going to mention the directory India and then user name, like it is user 3. What it will do, it will help to set the home directory. Okay, home directory. Okay, but which home directory? Not by default, like slash home slash user 2 user 3 to not create. It will create a home directory which we have mentioned over here. Slash India will be the home directory for newly created user 3 home directory. So let's see this one. By default, till the time user 2 we have created, it got the home directory slash home slash user 2. This time we will add the user with hyphen d. Directory I'm going to set, it is India, and the username is user 3 this time. So user 3 will be created with a home directory slash India. So normal standard users are getting home directory inside of slash home slash user. Okay, but here we have mentioned that user 3 should get the home directory inside of parent directory slash India. So this is the hyphen d option. Okay, to set the home directory for the user while creating user only. Now after the option hyphen d, okay, we can use the next option. Next option is we are going to set, it is hyphen S or hyphen G. First we'll see user add space hyphen capital G. Okay, hyphen G, this option will help us to add this user in particular group. Okay, while adding the user, while creating the user only. So in this case, we are going to create a new user 4, and while creating that user, it should be add in an IT group. So user 4 will be member of IT group just while creating the user hyphen G. So let me show you first what do we have the group of IT or not? Yes, IT group is there, and now we are going to add the user add space hyphen G, capital G. Okay, IT group and user 4 we are going to, or user 5 we are going to create. So user 5 has been created, and user 5 is a member of IT group. Now, how to check the user is became the member of IT group or not? For that purpose, we need to check another file. It is inside of etc. It is the group cat space slash etc slash group. In IT, in front of IT group, you can see here the user file has become the member of IT group. So if you are having several users, okay, in IT group, it will show in the same line, user 5, user 6, user 7, like that. So now user 5 became the member of IT group, and which option for that we have used? It is the hyphen G. So this is how we can add the user by creating user in the particular group by using hyphen G. Now, next option we are going to use, okay, it is user add space hyphen S. S is for the basically shell, okay. Now, what shell is? Let's suppose I'm going to give the bin bash shell, okay, and for the user 5. So user 5 will be created with this login shell, bin bash. Now, what the shell is, let me explain. Shell, okay, basically, let me draw on a small diagram, okay. Suppose this is your hardware which you are using, okay, hardware like a RAM, processor, memory, and all. Okay. Outside of the hardware, here is a concept called as a kernel. Kernel is basically the program, okay, which handles the hardware components. Okay. So kernel is connected to the hardware. It is a responsibility of the kernel to get work done by the hardware. Then outside of the kernel, you can find out the shell here. So shell is connected to the kernel. That means whatever the input you are giving to the terminal, it will pass through the shell towards the kernel. And we can consider outside layer of the shell is what? It is the your terminal. Okay. So the on terminal, whatever the input we are giving, it will be accepted by the shell. Okay. Now here are different shells are available with the Linux operating system. Okay. If we see, then and the path of the shell also. Some shell you will get inside of slash bin, and few of them will be available in slash as bin. Okay. So if you remember the file pass wd, the last field of pass wd file, okay, will show us the shell of the user, like last field, the shell bin bash, the shells slash bin fast has been no login. So here are some examples of the shell. Few of the popular shell, okay. First, bin sh, okay. Bin sh is the older one shell of the Linux, okay. Then the advanced version of sh shell, it is the bin slash bash shell, okay. Bash is a born again shell. And one more shell is there, slash bins slash zsh is there. ZSH is the by default shell available with the Kali Linux operating system. Then inside of SBin, we can find one more shell. It is no login shell. So you can check in a possibility file. Few users are having the no login shell. Basically, no login shell, that means this user is not able to log in on this Linux machine. So user add command we can use with this shell. Okay, just we need to change the option for that command. So the command user add will be same, user add space hyphen s. Suppose if I'm going to give the sb no login shell, sb no login, and for the user 6, suppose is that. So user 6 will create, but by default has been no login shell. And what will happen to that? Let's check. Suppose I'm going to change the shell slash bin slash no login shell. Sorry, no login shell is instead of has been, and user hyphen sorry, not hyphen user 6. For user 6, I'm going to set the no login shell, and option which we had used, it is hyphen s. So if we check, user 6 has been created with the shell of no login. So what is the purpose of no login shell is, even I'm logging with the root user or super user also cannot log in into the user 6 because it does not have the login, proper login shell. No login shell, that means the user cannot log in anyhow situation. But instead of that, if we see the user 5, there they can log in. Okay. So this shell will again allow to user to act as a differently. So we can change the shell with option hyphen s, okay, by this option hyphen s. And these all are options, okay, we can use, we are using with the user add command. Now what if we are already having some user, okay, like user 1 or 2 or 3, and if we want to change the particular options or particular settings of the user, so that for that purpose we can use the command user mod, okay, because user add command was creating the user, the fresh user, new user. But if you want to modify the existing user, okay, or if you want to change any particular setting for the existing user, you can have the this command user modification. Now let me show you what exactly the modification we can do and with the help of this command user mod. Even you can check this same command and it's a manual page as well, user mod, same as user add we had checked. So you can find out the different options for the user mod command. Okay, as user add command was also there, and with the similar options, 80% options are the same with the user add and user mod. Let me show you. For example, we can check here the user 6 is here. Okay, 6 is here, and it has the shell and no logging. But if we want to add the shell bin sh, okay, we cannot take the command user add space hyphen s for the shell, and the shell which we need to assign it is bin slash sh. We cannot use this command because user 6 is already created, it is exists, so it will give an error. User 6 is already exist. So instead of user add, we can use the command user mod for the modification. User mod, and then we can change the shell for user 6. Now the shell of user 6 has been changed. See, previously it was having the shell of has been no login, and now we have assigned the bin sh shell. So user 6 is now able to log in. User 6. Okay. So this is how we can modify the user with option hyphen s to change the shell. Now hyphen d, okay, to directly set the home directory. I'm going to set the India home directory for whom the user file which was previously created. So user file is having the home directory slash home slash user file. Let me show you. We were discussing about user file. You can see user file is having the home directory slash home slash user file. And we are going to modify the home directory. We are going to make the change in a home directory. Again, let's take the command user mod space hyphen d. Directory we are planning to set slash India, and for user file this time. Again, let's check user file is having the India home directory this time. So same option was there in user add also, hyphen d. With hyphen d we can change the home directory of the user. Now after hyphen d option, okay, we are going to see the a capital G option. Okay, now as we know, by using hyphen capital G we can change the group for the user, or we can set the group for the user. Okay, user mod space hyphen capital G. But what happened exactly? Okay, let's see here. First, let me show you what kind of group we have. We need to check in a group file. We are having the HR, we are having the IT. Okay, and you can see the IT is having the member of user file. User file is already member of IT group. So what if I will modify the user file this time? Okay, user mod space hyphen capital G use and again from IT. Now this time I'm going to set the HR user 5. User 5 was a member of IT group. This time I have mentioned the HR. So let's see what is the output of this. User 5 was previously in IT. Now it is now more with IT and it has been moved to the HR. So we can relate, okay, the hyphen G option will help us to change the group, to move the user from one group to another group. But in an industry, if you know, the one single user can be a member of multiple groups. A person who is working with IT, he may be a part of the HR team as well, sales team as well. So if we needed to put a same user is a member of multiple group, you can use the next option called as user mod space hyphen small a capital G. Basically, we needed to append the users group. Okay, and let's see this time user 5 is a member of HR. Okay, now we are going to append the group user mod space hyphen a capital G. Okay, and also this time I'm going to add the IT group for the user 5. Okay, so previously user 5 is a member of HR. This time we are going to add the same user in an IT group. Once it is added, let's see the output. User 5 is a member of HR and IT as well. Okay, we become the member of IT. Okay, and also it remains a member of HR as well. So this is hyphen A capital G option to append the group of user basically. Hyphen G will help us to move the user from one group to another group. Okay, and hyphen A option is to append the users group. So this we can do with hyphen A and capital G. Now we need to see the another option as well. For example, the same command again we are going to see the with another option. Okay, user mode. Like in user add, we had used the option hyphen S to change the shell, right? For example, the shell which I need to deploy slash bin slash bash shell for the user file this time. So let's take the previous shell of the user file. Okay, it is having the bin sh shell, bin sh. So there is a small difference between bin sh and bin bash shell. What it is, let's see. Excuse me. Now I'm going to change the shell of user 5. For that purpose, I'm going to use the option hyphen s slash bin slash bash shell. I'm going to use for user 5. Okay, for user 5, I'm going to set the bash shell, and let's see if the shell has been changed. For user 5, now the shell is bash shell. Okay, fine. Also, we'll change the home directory of the user 5 as well, slash home slash user 5 and user 5, so that we can log in user 5 in the correct way. Okay, sometimes in this situation you can see user 5 or user 5's home directory inside of slash home. When I check, the user 5 directory is no there. User has been created but without home directory. So what we need to do is we need to just use option hyphen M. Okay, hyphen M for the home directory. Okay, I think it has been already created. So we need to make directory, okay, individually for user 5 inside of slash home. And also we need to assign the permission as well as for that directory. So the user 5 will be able to log in and use the directory user 5. Now I'm going to log in with user 5 and you can see user whatever the shell we have mentioned, it is a bash shell. Now let's understand the difference between bash shell and sh shell. Okay, user 5 is having the bash shell. So bash shell, you can see the terminal syntax of the bash shell. The user name we can see on a terminal, host name we can see on a terminal, present working directory. Okay, and also there are some shortcut keys like control L to clear the screen. Okay, then few of the command like system C and tab button you can give to complete the command. So in that way, some of the basic or the features are available with the bash shell, but with not a sh shell. You cannot clear the screen. Okay, but you can clear the screen here in a bash shell like this. This is the bash shell so that you can clear the screen. Okay, but if the same thing you check with another user, let's suppose user 3. Okay, I'm logging with user 3 now. Who am I? You can check. I'm user 3. I cannot clear the screen by pressing Control L. I'm not able. Okay, and also I cannot get the option to complete the command by pressing tab button. So these are the disadvantages of SS shell. So hence bash is the advanced version of SS shell. By default, if you're using the CentOS, Red Hat, okay, RHEL, you can get the bash shell by default. But in case of Ubuntu or any other operating system like Debian base, you can get the by default SS shell for the user. Anyway, we have the command user mod. We can change the shell of any user. So this is how we can change the shell of the user by using option -s. Now, in the same way, we are adding some user, we are modifying the user. Okay. Now, what if you want to set the password for the particular user? Okay. We already had seen this command. It is a very simple command, passwd space username. Okay. If you are logging with the root, you can reset the password for any user simply. Okay. For example, I'm going to set the password for user 1. Okay. As being a root, as being a privileged user, it will ask me to directly set the new password and I can set the password. But what if you are logging with a standard user like user 5 is there? Okay. Now I'm a user 5. I do not have the permission to set the password for any other user. For example, user 1. Now it will ask me the current password first. Or even it is not allowing me, you may not have your fine. But user 5 can set or reset its own password only. Okay, but still he needs to give the first current password, whatever it is. So basically, standard user does not have the permission to change the password of any other user, only root can. Okay, so root can change the password with the help of command passwd space the username, and password we can change by using root user. So this is how we can add the user, we can manage the user, okay, and we can modify the user as well with the help of these basic commands. But just keep the thing or keep note that these are the two important files inside of /etc. One is the file called as passwd for user configuration, and another file is /group file for the checking the group purpose. Okay. Basically, we have already seen this concept. Groups are we can see the two different kind of group. One type of the group, those are the primary group. Okay. What a primary group is? Whenever you are going to add the single user, okay, for example, you are going to add user 1, okay, in this command we are adding the user basically, but in the at the same time user 1 will create by its own primary group as well. Okay, so in the same command, okay, user 1 will create its own primary group by the same name, and it will be user 1 will be a member of his own group. For example, if I'm going to create the user add space user 101, okay. Once I create this user, okay, we can check in passwd file, etc passwd. We can see the user 101 has been created. And at that same time, same thing we need to check with the group user. You can find the 101 group is also there. Okay. So the primary group is what? Whenever we are going to add the new user, it will create its own group, and that group will consider as a primary group. Secondary group we can create as per our requirement. Okay, like IT, HR, sales, those kind of groups are considered as a secondary group. So group also we can find out in two different ways. And to check the group, we need to find this file slash etc slash group. So okay, just let me clean the screen. So user management in Linux, okay, it is not like a too much complicated, but again, practice makes man perfect. You need to do the practice on various Linux level like Ubuntu, then again on a CentOS and minimal operating system you may found in market. So here is the user. Now we are going to log in user. For example, the command which we had seen, it was su space hyphen space user 5. Okay, what will happen if you are logging with a user 5? Okay, let me show you. User 5 and its home directory, present working directory. So you can check that you are inside of slash home slash user 5, okay, in this directory. So you are having the full permission for this directory user 5. That, for example, you can create the file over here. Okay, that's is test1, test2. You can create the several file. Also, you can create the several directory. India, okay, India 2. So for that directory slash home slash user 5, you are having the permission because it is your home directory after all. But what will happen if you are logging the user 5 without using hyphen option? A multiple administrator will get confused in this command. Okay, the command is su space hyphen space user 5. But if I'm giving this command su space user 5 only, okay, I have not used the hyphen option. So what will happen? Let's see. Okay, su space user 5. I have not given the option of hyphen. Still, I'm logging with user 5. But what the change is there? We are still, even we are logged in with user 5, but still we are in a slash root directory. That means the directory where we was, the same directory now we are in, just instead of just because of we have not used the hyphen option. So with this command, you can log in with a proper home directory, with proper home directory of user. But if you are just going with su space user, okay, you will log in with the user, but with the previous directory where you was, like if you are in slash root, okay, after even login user 5, you will be in slash root. Okay, if you are in slash etc, let me show you that thing as well. Suppose I'm in slash etc directory, okay, I'm in etc directory, and if I'm going to log in with user 5 without hyphen, so will be in slash etc only. See, okay. So for that purpose, if we want to log in the user with its proper home directory, we need to use the option su space hyphen and then user name, so that we can log in with the its proper home directory. So this is a command su and su with the without option, without hyphen, and with option with hyphen as well. So, but again, if you see, even login with the user 5, as in a normal user. Okay, if you know about the user profile, okay, what user profile is, once the user will get logged in, user inside the user directory, you can find some default directories like desktop, then download, then music, okay, and documents. These are the some of the by default home directory folder: desktop, download, document, music, videos. But we are logging with user 5, but we cannot see anything like that. No desktop, no download. So the reason behind that is, okay, we are logging with the user 5 only on CLI, command line interface, okay, not GUI. So to get the proper home directory, or to get the folder like that, home, then desktop, download, document, we need to log in user 5 from graphical user interface. Okay, so this is a graphical user interface which is login with another user. User 5, if you log in with the graphically, then you can find out the desktop, download, document with here. Let me show you another user we have. I'm having the user called as some kind of Jacob. You can see the desktop, download, document, okay? Because this Jacob user has been logged in graphically, but in a root, here is no desktop, no download, no document because root user I have never logged in graphically. Okay, if you log in root user graphically, also you will find out the desktop download document of the root user. Basically, it is considered as a user profile. User profile in a Windows operating system, if you see it is inside of slash C slash users folder, and then you can find the admin, the student, or different users. So this is the path of user profile in a Windows operating system. In Linux, you can find out the user profile path in slash home slash username, whatever it is, like slash home slash user one. And inside of that, you can find out the desktop, download, document, that kind of the directories. But after only login user with a graphically, this command su switch user is just to log in the user on a CLI based command line interface. So here is the conclusion, okay, like user add or user mod, okay, this command, okay, user add, we can add the user, new user by using different options. We can use to modify the user, okay, existing user, we can use a user mod command, okay, then su command for the switch user, okay, su, and then possibility command to change the password of any user, okay. This is how we can manage the users in a Linux server or Linux system in this way. So this is all about the today's session. Hope you understood the concepts. Now today in this session we are going to stop here and will again see you in a next session for the further discussion. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time. Have a great day.